In the last episode, we added the ability to drag shapes around the canvas. Today we'll add a handle to resize shapes interactively. Let's get started. We're starting off with the Elm SVG editor repo tagged before this episode. You can see here that we can move shapes around. It would be nice if we could resize them, so change their size interactively. So what we'll do is we'll add a handle when shapes are selected. We'll put it in the bottom right corner here and on the far right here. And then dragging the handle will change the width and the height of rectangles and the radius of circles. We'll start by adding a drag resize message. And of course we'll need to handle this in our update in order to actually compile. So we'll go back to the app, which is where our update function lives. And we have a function called handle drag action. There we go. So we already have drag move, and this just needs to return a shape. And so now we'll add drag resize. And for now we'll just return the shape that was already provided just so we can compile. And it seems to be working. Okay, so we actually, have just added the action, nothing exciting yet. So next we'd like to add the user interface component that allows us to send this action. So we'll open up the view, and we're going to come down to the bottom and just add a couple of functions. First off, we'll make a just drag handle width function that just stores the size of our drag handle. And then we'll add a function that will produce a drag handle SVG node at the coordinates provided. So we'll take a function called drag handle. We'll take a two-tuple of floats into an SVG of message. And we're going to use x underscore and y underscore here because there's already an x and y function imported. We'll just create a rectangle. Its x will be wherever we said x prime or x underscore was. Oops, sorry about that. The y will be wherever y underscore is. The width will be the drag handle width. Similarly for the height. We'll make the stroke yellow. This will look just like the selection rectangle. We'll have stroke width be 2. Same dash array. It'll be transparent, and we'll use a SVG attribute class function to add the selection drag handle class. And finally, we want to do something when you use mouse down. So specifically, we'll do on mouse down preventing default. We will send a begin drag with the drag action drag resize. Oop, and I should not have a capital A there. Okay, so now this will produce the drag handle, and every time you click a drag handle, it'll begin a drag resize. So now we'll add drag handles to each of the selected shape view functions. So we have view rect, and we have this rect selection, and then we have a group of children. And so we'll just add a drag handle with the x being the rect model x plus its width, and the rect model y plus its height for the x and y. And we'll add one to the circle as well, although instead of these we'll use the circle model cx, so the center plus the circle model radius. And then we'll just place it at circleModel.y. Oops, cy, sorry. Okay, and so that should add a drag handle, except for I messed something up. Drag handle does not match its specification. I've somehow produced a list. Oh, I didn't add a, sorry about that. It's still waiting for me to finish this out. It has no children. Okay, that should work. Okay, so now when we click them, we can see there's a drag handle here and a drag handle here. It's not so easy to see them. We'd also like the mouse cursor to represent resizing. So we can do that in CSS. We'll add selection drag handle. We'll say when you're over that, the cursor will be a northwest southeast resize. I don't get to use this sucker nearly enough because I don't make resize handles that often. Okay, so let's look, and we should have a nice resize handle on the shapes, and we do. Next we need to handle the resize itself. We'll start by adding support for resizing circles. So go back to the app. All right, so we want to say, okay, if it's, let's say case of the shape and then the model, remember we have a compared shape. So I want to look at both of those. And we'll default to just not doing anything, so returning the shape. And if we have a circle, we'll extract the circle model. And the compared shape, if it's just a circle, we'll also get the compared circle. So in that case, we will set a new radius. So we'll say the new radius will be the absolute value of the mouse's x position minus the circle model's cx. And then we'll just update the circle. So we'll say circle, and we have our circle model. And we'll update the radius. Oh, and something's a bit off here, maybe. Okay, it's right here. Oh, I didn't close that. That makes sense. All right. So now we can resize our circle. That was pretty easy. But it might be nice if going up and down had any bearing whatsoever. And so we will also check the y values instead of just the x values, and we'll just take the max of them. So we'll call this new rx, and similarly we'll make a new ry, And then we'll say the new R is now just the max of new Rx and new Ry. So now when we come back over here, we can click on the circle. We can resize horizontally or vertically. So that's kind of nice. Although it's a little bit squirrely because like I have to go in and up, but I think it's fine. It feels good. So what about rectangles? Let's start with a naive solution for a single axis. So we'll just come down here and I'll do it above the circle. Say, okay, well if we have a rect, and that's also what we're comparing it with, then we'll set the new width equal to the mouse cursor x minus the compared rect's x. And then we'll just return a new rect, updating the rect model. Okay, and with that we should be able to resize this. And it seems to work pretty nice, right? But what does it mean to have a rectangle with a negative width? Well, SVG doesn't know either. Okay, so in this case we need to be able to handle things differently depending on whether the cursor is to the left of the shape. We're going to add some basic conditionals to handle the less than 0 case differently. To deal with this, we now need to handle updating both the x and the width of our rect. So we'll come back over here, and instead of just new width, we'll have new x and new width. And we'll add a if. If the x is less than or equal to the compared x, then we'll return the existing x as well as comp rect x minus pos.x. So if we went negative, then our new x will be the mouse cursor's x, and the width will be the difference of those two values. Otherwise, we'll have the compared rectangle's x, and these two things reverse, right? So pos.x minus comprect.x. And we also want to set the new x, so we'll just say x equals new x. And with that, when we click, we can resize, and when we go left, things seem normal. So that's nice. It's easy to duplicate this logic for vertical resizing, so we'll do new y and new height, and we'll also update those. And with that, we can resize both directions, and things just work. Of course, there's a bit of frustrating behavior because the rect is only resizable from its bottom right, so if I go up here, you'll note that the handle stops at 0, 0, and I have to kind of just keep doing that. That's not so great, but it's alright for now. In today's episode, we expanded on our drag actions to support resizing shapes. There's custom code to handle each shape, as should be expected. We've also identified a quirk we'd like to sort out in the future, which is the resizing from only one corner. For now, it's pretty great to have this feature so easily. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.